Your suffering is not punishment, it's preparation. Every moment that breaks you, every setback that burns you, every trial that feels unfair, they're not there to destroy you. They're there to shape you, because the gods do not waste pain on the weak. They invest it in those they see as worthy of more. When life hits you hard, when everything feels like it's falling apart, remember this: the gods are watching. They are not mocking you, they are measuring you. They are asking one question: can you endure long enough to become who you're meant to be? Because greatness isn't given, it's revealed through suffering. Every challenge you face is a forge. Every disappointment, every delay, every loss, it's heat, pressure, and fire. And though it hurts now, it's refining you. You are being tested because you are trusted. The gods only test the ones they plan to use. Most people run from pain. They treat struggle as a sign that something's wrong. But you must see it differently. You must understand that your pain is proof that something powerful is being built inside you. The universe doesn't test the unworthy. It strengthens the chosen. Every great soul in history walked through storms before they could carry light. When the gods trust you with pain, they are saying, you can handle more than most. They are whispering, I have something greater for you, but first you must earn it, because power without endurance corrupts. Strength without struggle collapses. To handle what's coming, you have to be forged in fire first. There will be days when you question everything, when the weight feels too heavy, and you start to think, maybe you were never meant for this. That's the test. The gods want to see if you'll still move when there's no applause, no certainty, no guarantee. Will you stand tall in the silence? Will you trust the process even when it hurts? That's when your spirit is weighed. The truth is simple but hard. If your path is difficult, it's because your purpose is different. You are not meant to live like the rest. You were meant to lead, to inspire, to carry something sacred, and that means your path will be filled with trials. The gods don't waste smooth roads on warriors. They reserve them for tourists. Every time you fall, rise faster. Every time something's taken, rebuild stronger. Because resilience is the language the gods understand. When you keep fighting after you've lost everything, when you keep believing after every door has closed, that's when they nod and say, this one's ready. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. Pain is your teacher, discipline is your altar, and endurance is your offering. The gods watch closely not when you win, but when you struggle. They already know what you can do when it's easy. They want to see who you become when it's not. There's something sacred about silent suffering. When you keep pushing without complaint, when you work through tears, when you hold faith even when logic says give up, you enter a different realm. That's where warriors are born. That's where legends are formed. You can't reach that place without being broken first, so when the storm comes, don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this building in me? Don't curse the gods for your trials, thank them, because they're telling you that you've been chosen for something higher. Pain is the mark of potential. The fire you feel is not destruction, it's transformation. You have to start seeing obstacles differently. You're not unlucky, you're being sculpted. The same way the sculptor strikes stone with a chisel, life strikes you with hardship. But every hit has purpose. Every crack reveals more of who you truly are. The statue doesn't curse the hammer. It endures until beauty is revealed. Remember this. If your life feels like war, it's because the gods are preparing a general, not a spectator. They don't train leaders in luxury. They train them in chaos. The nights you cry, the days you doubt, the times you feel alone. Those are sacred. They are not setbacks. They are signals. Each one says, something greater is being born inside you. The fire you're in is not there to burn you. It's there to harden you. Every hardship is proof that you are chosen for something only pressure can prepare you for. Stop asking for ease. Ask for endurance. Stop praying for comfort. Pray for strength. The gods trust you enough to test you. Now trust yourself enough to pass. You've survived everything that was meant to break you. That's not coincidence. That's calling. You were never meant to crumble. You were meant to rise. You've already walked through things that would have destroyed weaker souls. That's evidence of trust. Every scar you carry is a seal of divine faith. You've been tested before. You'll be tested again. But you'll always rise higher, because the gods don't test the fragile. They test the death. The gods are not cruel. They are craftsmen. They work in silence, using time and struggle as their tools. Every delay you face, every dream that takes longer than expected, every door that closes, all of it is part of the design. The greater the destiny, the heavier the shaping. The metal destined to become a sword must endure more heat than the one meant to be a coin. So if your path has been hard, if your heart has carried more pain than most, that's not bad luck. It's sacred weight. You're being built for something more demanding, something rarer. The gods see a future you can't yet glimpse, and they're preparing you for the moment when it arrives. That's why the test feels endless, because your purpose is eternal. Weakness doesn't survive divine testing. You will feel yourself breaking, but breaking is not the end. It's the beginning of becoming unbreakable. The gods strip away what's fragile so that what's real can rise. The version of you that can't handle pain has to die before the version that can lead others through it can be born. It's not supposed to be fair. It's supposed to be forging. Fairness creates comfort. Forging creates strength. And the gods have no interest in comfort. They're interested in evolution. They don't want you safe. They want you ready. You've asked for strength, so they gave you struggle. You've prayed for courage, and so they sent you fear. You begged for wisdom, so they allowed confusion, because strength isn't granted. It's built. Courage isn't born. It's discovered in danger. And wisdom doesn't arrive in comfort. It grows in the ruins of what once broke you. Stop asking for life to be easy. Easy is the language of the untested. You've been marked by the divine, and that means you've been chosen for resistance. That means your path will demand more from you. And that's good, because only under pressure does your true nature reveal itself. Most people will never understand why you keep going when everything's falling apart. That's because they don't hear the call you do. The gods speak in struggle. Their language isn't words, and it's weight. When you feel life pressing against you, that's the divine saying, I'm still with you. Keep going. You might think you're alone, but you're not. You are surrounded by unseen eyes, by forces that believe in your strength more than you do. They've seen the potential buried deep inside you, the kind that only pain can reach. That's why they test you, not to see if you'll fail, but to awaken the part of you that can't. The gods trust you because they know you won't quit. They've seen the fire in you. Even when you doubt yourself, they don't. Even when you want to walk away, they keep the doors closed until you learn what you were meant to learn. Every delay is divine timing. Every rejection is protection. Every failure is formation. You're being built for something that mediocrity can't handle. When everything feels heavy, remember this. The gods give the most pressure to the strongest vessels. Clay cracks, iron bends, but steel endures. You are not clay. You are steel. You just haven't realized it yet. The pressure isn't breaking you. It's proving you. Every setback is a message. You still have more to give. Every heartbreak is a reminder. You are still capable of love. Every failure is a whisper. You are still in the fight. The gods don't test those who've given up. They test those still worth shaping. It's easy to thank them when life goes your way. But the real proof of faith is thanking them when it doesn't. To look up through tears and still say, I understand. I trust this. That's the kind of strength that echoes across eternity. That's when the gods know they chose right. Think about it. If the gods handed you everything without resistance, what kind of person would you become? Entitled, soft, fragile, but they don't want that for you. They want you sharp, calm, resilient, unstoppable. They want you to earn your power so that once it's in your hands, you know exactly how to wield it. You don't learn patience when things happen fast. You learn it when nothing moves and you still stay committed. You don't learn strength when it's easy to stand. You learn it when everything pushes you to your knees. You don't learn faith when everything makes sense. You learn it when nothing does. Every delay is divine conditioning. Every struggle is sacred training. When you're walking through pain, understand this. The gods are watching closely, not to see if you fall, but to see if you rise differently. They don't want perfection. They want endurance. They want honesty. They want you to face the fire and refuse to curse it, because the fire that burns you is the same fire that will light your path. So next time you feel like giving up, stop and breathe. Realize that the gods wouldn't still be testing you if you weren't meant to pass. Every breath you take in defiance of pain is proof that they were right to trust you. Pain is not your punishment. It's your prophecy. You're walking through it not because you're cursed, but because you're chosen. Every scar you earn, every tear you shed, every battle you survive, these are the signatures of divine trust. They don't test the weak, they test the worthy. The gods don't send storms to destroy you. They send storms to teach you to command the wind, to show you that the same power that breaks others can build you, if you decide it will. You were not sent to be crushed by the weight of life. You were sent to prove that you could carry it. The test never arrives when you're ready. It strikes in silence, in moments when your faith is thin and your strength feels gone. That's how the gods operate. They don't test your comfort, they test your conviction. When everything falls apart, they're asking one question. Do you still believe in your purpose when the world gives you every reason not to? Anyone can be strong when the sun is shining. Anyone can speak of faith when the path is clear. But when the light disappears and the ground trembles beneath you, that's when your spirit is weighed. That's when the gods decide if you are merely inspired or truly chosen. You think they've forgotten you. They haven't. They're watching your silence. They're measuring your patience. They're studying how you move when no one's cheering, when no one's helping, when all that's left is you. Because that's when truth emerges. When there's nothing left to lean on except your own will. The gods do not test to humiliate you. They test to eliminate what's unworthy of you. Every loss strips away another layer of weakness. Every disappointment reveals another dependency you don't need. They're not taking things from you to hurt you. They're clearing your path so you can move without weight. You think you're losing everything, but you're actually being refined. It's easy to mistake refinement for ruin. When the storm hits, your instinct is to fight it, to beg for calm. But calm doesn't change you. Chaos does, fire does. If the gods keep throwing you into storms, it's because you've proven you can stand in them. They don't send hurricanes to houses built on sand. They send them to test foundations made of stone. You've been asking for purpose. This is it. Pain is the proving ground of every great destiny. The gods won't let you carry light unless you've known the weight of darkness. They won't let you lead unless you've learned to follow your own soul through uncertainty. They won't give you strength unless you've experienced fragility. Every test answers your own prayers in disguise. You asked for growth. They gave you resistance. You asked for clarity. They gave you confusion so you'd learn to see through fog. You asked for power. They gave you struggle, so you'd remember what power feels like when you earn it. Stop running from your training. Every hardship is a gym for your spirit. Every rejection builds resilience. Every heartbreak strengthens your heart's capacity for love. You can't ascend without friction. You can't rise without resistance. When you stand in the middle of pain, stop saying, "Why me?" and start saying, "Train me." That's the difference between the average and the awakened. The average sees pain as punishment. The awakened sees it as preparation. The gods don't need to explain their reasons. They speak through results. You may not understand now, but one day you'll look back and realize every broken piece was a step toward the whole. Every failure was a blueprint. Every closed door was protection. Every delay was design. There's a moment in every test when you'll want to quit, when you'll think you've given everything you have. That's the point. The gods push you to the edge not to destroy you, but to show you that the edge is farther than you thought. You're capable of more than your comfort allows. The test stretches you into that truth. When you think you're finished, you're not. You're just emptying the old to make room for the new. You're shedding old fears, old habits, old versions of yourself that can't survive at the next level. That's why pain feels like loss. Because the part of you that can't handle your future is being left behind. Endurance is worship. Every time you keep going when it hurts, you honor the gods who trusted you with the trial. They don't need your perfection. They need your persistence. Because persistence proves faith. It says, even if I don't see it yet, I know this pain is not pointless. You're being trained to stand when others sit, to fight when others fold, to believe when others break. That's divine trust. The gods test you not because you're weak, but because they already know you're strong. They're not proving your worth to themselves. They're revealing it to you. Every test you face builds evidence of your capability. Every time you rise again, you collect proof that you were made for something larger than comfort. Soon you'll carry that proof like armor. You won't fear storms anymore. You'll recognize them as signals of elevation. You'll stop asking for life to be easy and start asking for strength to handle it. You'll stop envying those who have less struggle and start pitying them. Because without struggle, there's no growth, no fire, no greatness. The ones who suffer with purpose will always stand higher than those who live without one. You are one of the tested, one of the trusted. That means your pain is sacred. That means your pressure is divine. Every scar is a story the gods will one day tell through your triumph. When you finally rise, when the season of trial ends and the dust clears, you'll realize the gods were never testing your limits. They were stretching them. You were never breaking down. You were breaking open. There comes a moment in the middle of the test when the noise starts to fade. Not because the world suddenly gets quiet, but because you do. The chaos outside doesn't change, but something within you does. The panic burns out. The fear loses its voice, and all that's left is a strange, steady focus. That's the sound of your spirit adapting. The gods have been waiting for that moment. When you stop fighting the test and start mastering it, you begin to understand that suffering isn't the enemy. Resistance isn't against you. They're both instruments of transformation. You realize the purpose of pain was never to crush you, it was to carve you. You start to see that everything that hurt you also helped you. The weight didn't just test your strength, it built it. The silence didn't just isolate you, it tuned your hearing to your own heartbeat. It's in that moment you understand that endurance isn't survival, it's evolution. You're not just getting through something hard, you're becoming someone new. The tests don't stop, but your relationship with them changes. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what now? You stop seeking comfort and start seeking growth. You stop fearing storms and start studying them, because you see it now. The gods don't test to break, they test to awaken. You've been walking through fire, and somewhere along the way you stopped burning. You became the fire. What once scared you now sharpens you. What once broke you now builds you. You've reached the stage of strength where struggle no longer surprises you. It excites you, because you know each test is a new opportunity to discover your depth. You start seeing every challenge differently. The obstacle at work? That's your training in patience. The heartbreak that still stings? That's your training in empathy. The dream that still feels far away? That's your training in perseverance. Life stops being punishment and starts being preparation. You start walking with a calm defiance, not because you've stopped caring, but because you've started trusting. You realize now that divine trust isn't about avoiding pain. It's about handling it with grace. The gods test you because they believe you can hold the weight without collapsing. And when you do, when you carry that weight and keep moving forward, the heavens take note. The same gods who once tested you begin to clear paths for you. The same storms that tried to drown you now push you forward. The universe starts to conspire with you because you've proven yourself worthy of its trust. The funny thing about strength is that once you build it, you stop needing to prove it. You no longer shout about your endurance, you live it. You no longer need people to understand your pain. You've made peace with it. You stop explaining your journey because those who were meant to understand already do. You stop chasing validation and start embodying conviction. The gods don't reward noise. They reward consistency, the quiet daily choices, the unseen effort, the decision to get up one more time when no one's watching. That's divine proof of character. The world celebrates the result, but the gods honor the process. The struggle you endured in silence has already been witnessed by higher eyes. When you wake up tired but still go after your purpose, you're aligning with the divine. When you face betrayal and still choose integrity, you're aligning with the divine. When you fail publicly but rebuild privately, you're aligning with the divine. Every act of silent endurance sends a message upward. You can trust me with more. And that's when the tide starts to shift. Not because the world suddenly favors you, but because you've become the kind of person who can handle favor without losing focus. You've grown into someone who can hold both success and struggle with steady hands. You don't beg for miracles anymore. You become one. You start moving differently. You walk slower but with purpose. You speak less but with impact. You stop reacting and start responding. Because now you carry awareness. Awareness that everything that ever hurt you was a rehearsal for everything that's coming. You stop seeing life as random and start seeing it as orchestrated. This is when the gods smile, because they see you've learned the language of trials. You no longer curse the rain. You thank it for watering your roots. You no longer fear endings. You trust them as transitions. You no longer doubt yourself. You remember what the fire has already proven. You've passed the phase of questioning and entered the phase of knowing. And when you reach that place, life begins to open again. Not easier, but clearer. The same tests still appear, but now they don't shake you. They remind you. Every challenge becomes a confirmation that you're still trusted, still chosen, still becoming. The gods test those they trust, and trust grows through testing. So when the next storm rises, you won't flinch. You'll feel the wind, tighten your grip and whisper to yourself, I've been here before. You'll remember the nights you thought would end you but didn't. You'll remember the pain that once felt endless but turned into wisdom. And in that memory, you'll find power. You'll understand that no one escapes testing, but not everyone endures it with honor. The difference is how you carry it. You've learned to carry it with pride, with patience, with faith. You've learned that real strength is quiet. It doesn't boast. It simply keeps moving. The gods don't test you to watch you suffer. They test you to show you to yourself, to strip away everything false until only truth remains. And when you finally see yourself clearly, you realize the divine has been within you the entire time. The gods weren't watching from above. They were awakening inside you. There's a day when the storm simply runs out of rain. The air still hums, the clouds still circle, but something in you has already stepped beyond it. The weight is still there, yet it no longer defines you. You've stopped asking when the struggle will end. You've started asking what else it can teach. That's the shift. That's when the gods know the test has done its work, because you've changed. You no longer move like someone searching for approval. You move like someone guided by purpose. The same obstacles that once terrified you now feel like familiar territory. You've walked through enough fire to recognize its pattern, enough darkness to recognize your own light. You don't need the world to confirm your growth. You can feel it in your bones. The tests haven't stopped. They've evolved. They no longer come to break you. They come to refine you. The gods are still watching, but now they nod instead of question. You've proven that you can carry weight without bitterness, that you can fight without losing compassion, that you can be powerful without forgetting humility. That's what they were shaping all along. Balance, strength with grace, will with wisdom. Every scar has become a scripture. Every failure a verse in your personal mythology. You don't hide them anymore. You wear them like armor, not as proof of pain, but as evidence of endurance. You've learned that survival isn't luck, it's skill. And that skill was born from every moment you thought you couldn't go on, but did anyway. There's a strange peace in understanding the gods' rhythm. You see now that nothing was wasted. Every delay, every betrayal, every collapse had a purpose. The puzzle makes sense in hindsight. The nights of silence built your inner voice. The moments of rejection built your independence. The times you felt abandoned were the seasons that taught you to rely on something eternal within yourself. You used to pray for relief. Now you pray for readiness. You used to ask for smaller mountains. Now you ask for stronger legs. That's what the tests have done. They've made you capable of carrying more, leading more, becoming more. The gods trust you with heavier things now because you've earned that trust. You understand something most people never will. There's no glory in an easy life. Ease breeds emptiness. Challenge breeds meaning. The gods favor the ones who keep walking uphill because they know that only those who climb can see the view. And when you reach it, when you finally stand where the air is thin and the world below looks small, you realize the test was never about reaching the top. It was about discovering who you had to become on the way there. You don't seek revenge on those who doubted you. You don't waste time explaining your scars. You've outgrown that. Your victory is silent. Your proof is your peace. You no longer need to prove that you're strong. You live like strength itself. And now you begin to understand the deeper truth. The gods never left. Every time you fell and somehow found the courage to rise, that was them. Every time your body gave up but your spirit didn't, that was them. Every time you felt utterly alone, yet still heard that quiet whisper saying, "Keep going," that was them too. They were never testing you from above. They were testing themselves through you. Because every warrior they create carries their reflection. Every act of endurance is divine echo. When you hold your ground, when you choose faith over fear, you remind the universe of its own resilience. You've become the living proof of the gods' belief in humanity, and that's why your life will never be ordinary again. You've walked through too much to settle for average. You've stared into chaos and found composure. You've faced pain and extracted purpose. You've learned that everything breaks, but not everything stays broken. You've learned how to rebuild. Now when the next test comes, and it will, you'll meet it with a quiet smile. You'll remember who you are and who watches you. You'll remember that your suffering was never punishment. It was preparation. You'll remember that divine trust is the highest honor. And you'll whisper the words that started it all. The gods test those they trust. You'll walk into the storm not as a victim, but as a vessel. Not as someone seeking mercy, but as someone carrying meaning. Because now you understand that being tested by the divine isn't about proving your worth. It's about living it. So when life presses against you again, when it tries to shake your faith, steal your focus, or make you question your purpose, stand tall. Look up, feel the weight and smile. The gods have called your name again. They still trust you. They still believe you're worth the trial, and somewhere beyond the thunder, beyond the fire and noise, they're watching, not with pity, but with pride. Because every time you rise, every time you choose to keep going, the heavens remember why they chose you in the first place. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not punished. You are prepared. And the gods are still watching, always.